You didn't just pay off debt. You built the person who never goes back. Raise your hand if you've ever opened a banking app, seen the number, and closed it without reading it. Yeah? Same. That's not laziness. That's fear wearing a hoodie. Here's the truth nobody tells you about debt. It's not a money problem first. It's an information problem. You're not broke because you're bad at math. You're broke because nobody ever showed you the actual mechanics of how money moves, and banks are not exactly rushing to fix that for you. I spent years avoiding my own numbers. Real years. I'd get paid, pay the minimums, and pretend the rest didn't exist. Every "I'll deal with it later" was really just fear wearing a to-do list. And here's the part that stings. The interest didn't care that I was avoiding it. It kept compounding while I kept scrolling. So let's start with the one sentence that changes everything. Debt isn't a moral failure. Debt is a math problem with a deadline. Once you see it that way, the shame drops off. And shame was never helping you anyway. Shame just makes you avoid the one thing you need to look at. Let's talk numbers, because vague advice is useless. The average person carrying credit card debt is paying somewhere around 20 to 25% interest. That's not a typo. If you owe $5,000 and only pay the minimum, you could be paying that card off for over a decade, and you'll hand the bank almost as much in interest as you borrowed in the first place. That's not a debt. That's a slow leak in your entire future. Here's the reframe. Every dollar you send to high-interest debt is a guaranteed return. Pay off a card charging 24%, and that's the same as investing your money and getting a guaranteed 24% return, tax-free, risk-free. No stock market gives you that. So the fastest wealth move most people can make isn't picking stocks. It's killing interest. But knowing that doesn't make it easy to start. So here's the framework. I call it the 3 piles. Pile 1. List every debt you have, smallest balance to largest. Not by interest rate, by size. Yes, I know the math nerds are yelling at their screens right now. Stay with me. Pile 2. Pay minimums on everything except the smallest debt. Throw every extra dollar you can find at that one. Pile 3. The second that smallest debt hits zero, you take the entire payment you were making on it, and you roll it into the next smallest. Not spend it, not reward yourself with it. Roll it. This is called the snowball. And here's why size beats interest rate for most people. Even though it's not mathematically optimal, motivation is not optional. It's fuel. Knocking out that first small debt in 6 weeks instead of 6 years gives your brain proof that this actually works. That proof is worth more than the extra $40 you'd save doing it the smart way. You need to win early, or you quit by month 3. I've seen it happen to smart people. I've done it myself. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. You can't snowball what you don't track. Most people don't actually know their number, not their credit score, their real number. Every debt, every balance, every interest rate, added up into one total. That number feels scary to look at, but an unknown number is scarier than a known one, because your brain fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios at 2 a.m. Write it down. One time. That's it. You don't need a spreadsheet obsession. You need one honest number. Let's talk about the excuse that stops people before they even start. I don't make enough to pay extra. Here's the truth. Most people aren't broke because of income. They're broke because of invisible spending. Subscriptions you forgot exist. Delivery fees that add up to a car payment. That just is once that happens 4 times a week. You don't need a massive income jump to start the snowball. You need 48 hours of honest tracking. Every dollar, written down, no judgment. Most people find at least $100 a month hiding in plain sight. That's not nothing. That's your first step payment. Here's a specific tool that works better than willpower, because willpower runs out by 3 p.m. and money decisions happen at midnight. Automate the boring part. Set up an automatic transfer the day after payday. Before you can touch it, straight toward your smallest debt. Out of sight beats out of willpower every single time. You're not relying on future you to make a good decision. You're removing the decision entirely. Now let's talk about the wealth side, because debt payoff is only half the story. Once your debts are gone, and they will be gone if you keep rolling that snowball, most people do something devastating. They celebrate by spending the extra money instead of redirecting it. Don't do that. The moment your last debt hits zero, that entire monthly payment becomes your new investment. Same amount, same automatic transfer, new destination. You already proved you can live without that money. Don't hand it back to your lifestyle. Hand it to your future. Here's the part that actually builds wealth, and it's simpler than people make it sound. You don't need to pick winning stocks. You don't need to time markets. Historically, low-cost index funds that just track the overall market have returned around 7% a year after inflation, averaged over long periods. Not every year. Some years are down, but over decades. That compounding is what actually builds wealth for regular people. Not day trading, not crypto gambling, not some guy online promising you'll be rich by Tuesday. Let's make that real with numbers. If you take that same debt payment, let's say $300 a month, And instead of sending it to a credit card, you send it to an index fund for 25 years at that historical average. You're looking at a number well into six figures. Same money, same discipline you already built, killing your debt, just redirected. That's the whole secret. There isn't a second secret hiding somewhere. Now, 3 quick truths people skip because they're not exciting enough for a headline. 1. Build a small emergency fund before you go all in on debt, even $500, because without it, the next flat tire or medical bill becomes new debt, and you're back to square one. A tiny cushion breaks the cycle before it starts again. 2. Not all debt is equal. A mortgage at a low rate is not the same emergency as a credit card at 24%. Don't panic, pay off your lowest interest debt while high interest debt keeps bleeding you. Attack the expensive stuff first. Structure second. 3. This is boring work. It is not a movie montage. It's a Tuesday night checking your number instead of watching another video about people who got rich overnight. The grind here isn't glamorous. It's just consistent, and consistent is what actually works, even when it doesn't feel like it's working yet. Here's something we're sitting with. The person who pays off debt and starts investing isn't smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They just stopped avoiding the number, built one small system, and kept feeding it every single month without needing to feel motivated about it. Motivation was never the requirement. Repetition was. So here's what I want you to actually do after this. Not someday, today. Write down your real number. Every debt added up. One time. No judgment. Pick your smallest balance. Set one automatic transfer toward it for tomorrow. That's it. That's the whole first step. And it takes less time than the video you were about to watch next. You are not behind. You are not bad with money. You were just never handed the actual mechanics, and now you have them. The debt didn't build itself overnight, and it won't disappear overnight either, but it will disappear, one rolled snowball at a time, if you just keep showing up for it. And when that last balance finally hits zero, and it will, don't just feel relieved. Feel it click. Feel what it means that you build a system that worked without needing motivation to carry it. That's not luck. That's not a lucky break. That's you becoming someone who finished what they start with money. You didn't just pay off debt. You built the person who never goes back.